Well, I'm glad you're back. We're on chapter 7 of Autopsy of a Deceased Church. The chapter is called The Preference-Driven Church. Now, I want you to know, long before I ever read this book, I ran across a quote. I wrote it down, and it's been sitting on my desk here for a couple of years now. The quote is this: when the preferences of the church members are greater than their passion for the gospel, the church is dying. And nobody likes to say that, but we all have preferences. We all like things a certain way. The choice of music, or our choice of seasoning on food, the clothes we wear, the style of clothes. We all have preferences. But when our preferences, when we're a preference-driven church, we've got to reevaluate what's going on. Now, a couple of pages into this chapter, at the bottom of the page, he says this: we are to be servants. We are to be obedient. We are to put others first. We are to do whatever it takes to seek the best for others and our church. That's not as easy as it sounds, is it? Because what if I don't get what I like, or the way I like it? And now I got to deal with self-centeredness or greed, jealousy. I've got to deal with a whole bunch of things. That's very common within churches when we want to protect what we have and how we have it. On the next page, that first full paragraph says, there were not many indications in the autopsy churches that most members had such a self-sacrificial attitude. Instead, the attitude was self-serving, self-giving, and self-entitled. It was about me, myself, and I. Well, this doesn't get any easier, does it? Because as we start thinking about Lutheran Church of the Master, we have to ask ourselves the question, is the decision that I make, is it based on the good of all, or the community outside of these four walls, or is it because it's what I want? It may not be what God wants, but it's what I want. That's hard. On the next page, he makes a statement. He says, as the church got closer to death, the intensity of their arguments and demands for their preferences grew. So even as we're closing in on dying, what we'll see happen is we'll see the talons get sucked into the meat even tighter. Our grip, our grasp will become even more. He says in the next one, when church members increasingly demand their own preferences, the church is steadily not becoming the church. We're something completely different than the church. Spend some time talking with each other, honestly, about your preferences or what you feel the preferences of the church are. Maybe it's a time we start considering what can we let go of, or what should we let go of. Would you spend some time talking with each other?